Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today for the live critical English. We're looking at the grade 7 curriculum and it's based on the grade 6 consolidated curriculum that the primary schools are using, but which this set of students were not able to fully complete as they were preparing for their exams earlier this year. So we're playing catch up, let's just say that. So our topic for today, we're going to have Alicia guess our topic. We have our loyal student Alicia here today. So Alicia, we're doing a topic that you probably have done all the time through primary school, when you started doing it already at secondary school. And it's not words we're dealing with today, but we're dealing with things that you put between words, between sentences sometimes, in the middle of sentences sometimes, and sometimes at the starting of sentences. Can you make a guess as to what we're doing today? Punctuation. Exactly. So no need to question yourself because you are correct. We are dealing with punctuation today. So in your own words, what is punctuation?
Punctuation is...
So they're basically symbols. Words are also symbols, but they're different type of symbols. They usually tell emotions. They can tell emotion, or they can tell us when to pause or when to take a breath. So if you're reading a speech, for instance, or you're making a presentation and you pause, if they were to write all those words down, maybe where you pause there will be a full stop, or if you sound excited there may be an exclamation mark. So we're going to review some of that. I'm going to pull up a page in front of you and you're going to see a list of punctuation marks. I just want you to indicate to me which ones you are familiar with. So you should see a list on the screen with the names of punctuations. Are you able to see it? Maybe one of our tech guys can pull it up for us, please. Good. So you should be seeing their punctuation marks, and we have full stop or period. Do you know that one?
Yeah.
So put a finger up because you know that one. We have comma. Put a finger up if you know this one. Put a finger up if you know colon. Put a finger up if you know semicolon. Question mark. Long brackets. Square brackets. Quotation marks. Apostrophe. Ellipses. Exclamation mark, underline, hyphen, and virgule. Yeah. So how many fingers do you have up?
I can't remember.
So you had 5, 5, and 4. So that would be should be 9, but I think it's more actually. I think one of them you didn't put your finger up for, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So in all on the board we would have 7 on one side, 7 on the other, so that's 14. And you had up almost all of your fingers, right? 5 and 5 and 4. Okay, 14. Good, correct. Alright, so we're going to do a brief review of these, but in your own words, pick 2 of them and tell me how we use them in sentences.
For the ellipsis point, you use it to indicate that word or something maybe continuing.
Or maybe a portion of the sentence is missing too, you can use it like that. So maybe if you're making a list of things, I'm going to the market to pick up rice, pigeon peas, garlic, onion, ... pepper, full stop. We know you left out some of the words or some of the things that you were going to pick up at the market. Good, very good. So give me another one.
The colon indicates like, let's say like you're about to list a certain amount of certain stuff, like you put that to indicate that.
Good. So the same example I gave just now where you were going to the market to buy a few things, you can put the colon and now you can start listing everything else that you will be getting from the market with a comma after each. Correct? Excellent. So the one of the familiar ones that you'll have is the full stop or the period, and this usually occurs when or where. Hi Azaria, have a seat.
At the end of of a sentence.
At the end of a sentence, we usually have a full stop or a period. So remember when we were doing that session on types of sentences? So we did, can you remember those type of sentences that we did? The types of sentences? We had declarative, exclamatory. So just look at those two there. Which one of those would you use a full stop with?
Declarative, exclamatory.
Just remember those two. Just those two. Declarative. Excellent. And the exclamatory would go with which punctuation mark?
The exclamation.
That's an easy one, right? So I'm going to pull up a screen and we're going to look at the video, and I'm going to pause it intermittently so we can discuss some of the things being discussed here. So Azaria, we started our discussion on
punctuation marks are an important part of writing. They are used as signals to the reader.
For example, what do we have on the screen there?
Ryan
Plays
golf.
and then we have what punctuation mark happening at the end?
Full stop.
A full stop. And Ryan is a proper noun, so it starts with a capital letter. But apart from that, all sentences start with a capital letter. So capitalization also comes under the broad heading of punctuation. That's how you start the sentence. So punctuation is not, you're seeing the symbols there, yes. But when you're reading, you're going to call the words out, the sounds that the letters are making. But are you calling out the punctuation? Do we say Ryan plays golf full stop? Capital letter? No. So what's the difference between the symbols that we use for punctuation and the symbols that we use to represent words in our language, in English? The difference is what? They're both symbols. What's the difference between punctuation and letters?
The punctuation marks are silent.
They're silent. They're silent, and they're there to guide your reading. So as you're reading, you know where to pause, you know when to sound surprised, you know when to sound angry because of the punctuation mark. Or you also know, sometimes that slash symbol, you know that we're talking about not one thing, we're talking about two things, but it could either be this or it could be the other one. So let's continue this here. Ryan plays golf.
For example, a period signals a stop at the end of a sentence. Ryan plays golf.
Good. Ryan plays golf. You have a period at the end. So another word for full stop is a period. Okay, good. And if you remember when we were talking about subject and verb agreement, Ryan is singular or plural subject here? Singular. We're talking about one person. So the S for plays. You see how everything is coming back together? So the topics we did before, we're continuing to learn about them. So let's continue. We're going to go to our next one now.
When you see the period, you know the sentence has ended. A question mark signals that a sentence asks a question. Can he make a hole in one?
Good. So we talked about the period or the full stop, and now we're talking about which one? Question mark. When someone is speaking, can you tell when they're asking a question?
Yeah.
Do they have to tell you question mark? No. So tell me what would signal to you that someone is asking a question without them telling you they're using a question mark at the end of it.
They use what, where.
So those are signal words, right? What, where, how, those kind of things. But is there anything with their voice or their intonation? Does their voice go up? Does it come down? Anything like that?
Voice goes up.
Yes, you would notice that the voice goes up. Think about it. The first one, Ryan plays golf. Ryan plays golf. Can he make a hole in one? Notice how it sounds a bit different. It's not flat anymore. So intonation signals that as well. So when you're writing, we can use full stops or we can use Question marks. It depends on the purpose of the sentence that we're using. Let's continue.
Asked. An exclamation point signals that a sentence shows strong feelings. He sure can.
So which one are we talking about now?
Question.
Look again. Exclamation mark. Good. So exclamation mark suggests strong emotions. Or what's another word we can use for emotions? Strong feelings. Good. He sure can. And I don't think we speak like this in Guyana, do we? He sure can. So give me a Guyanese version of this here to show strong emotions where an exclamation mark will be used. So strong emotions can be like excitement. It can even be anger. It can be when you shout at someone. So give me a Guyanese one. For example, they're playing cricket in the yard because we don't exactly play golf either, right? Some persons play golf, but not a lot of persons know how to play golf in Guyana. But everyone knows how to play cricket, correct? So, let's say you were at a cricket match recently. When would somebody shout in a cricket?
Team gets a score.
When their team gets a score. So now say that in Guyanese for me. Say it how we say the thing in Guyana. He scored 2 points for his team. Is that how we say it?
Yeah.
No, so how we say it? How do we say it? Strong emotions. I need to hear some of that coming out from you. Or let's flip the table.
We get 2 goals.
We get 2 goals on the screen, right? We get 2 goals. That would be football though, right? Not cricket. Good. Or if they lose, everybody is disappointed. So you can sense the disappointment, right? Some people would say these players always, or they're always losing, and they're shouting as they're saying this, right? So with the shouting, if you were to write it down, you would have the exclamation mark there. If somebody is late as well, some teachers don't like persons coming into their classes late. They would shout at them sometimes, exclamation mark. Not that it's right for them to shout at them, but just the use of the exclamation mark here. So our voice is powerful, and our voice can tell people things. Sometimes people say it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And how you say it, punctuation comes out there. So when you're writing stories or so forth, when you want your characters to have strong emotions, what can you use? Exclamation marks. When you want them to ask a question, question mark. And when they're it's a regular sentence, no strong emotions, what do you use? Full stop or a period. Easy peasy, right?
Yeah.
What do they say after easy peasy?
Lemon squeeze.
Lemon squeeze.
The exclamation point adds a sense of excitement to this sentence. Exclamations can also show feelings of surprise, fear, or anger. Here is an
Alright, so let's discuss those emotions that we went through there just now.
or anger.
Good. Excitement, surprise, fear, or anger. Anybody here has been to a birthday party before?
Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes they surprise the birthday girl or the birthday boy. So everybody would hide behind the chair or the sofa or whatever. And they turn off the lights. And when the person comes in, what do everybody shout? Surprise! So would it be surprise? Would everybody just stand up and say surprise? No, you gotta get some kind of feeling, right? So everybody would shout, surprise! So let me hear your surprise birthday shout. I'm giving you the teacher look right now. Come on, show some excitement. It's Nigel's birthday today, one of the guys who come to help us with stuff. So if you were supposed to surprise him with something, what would you say?
Surprise!
Would you be surprised if somebody say it like that? You may, but you sound a little bit more excited. So you see where I'm coming at, right? So your emotions need to go with the tone of how you say it. So it's not just what you say, it's how you say it. So you have to open your mouth. It has to come from your lungs. Or some people say it got to come from your belly. Basically, you breathe, make sure all the air goes there, and then it comes out. So excitement, surprise, fear. So some people, when they are scared, they would, they're jumpy, but then they would also shout at people sometimes when they're scared. Or if a rat comes in your room, do you like rats? What if he's crawling on you now?
Just jump and shoot it off.
You just jump quietly and shoo, or you'll jump with the fury?
Only if I don't know if it's on me, then.
If you don't know it's a rat and you just feel something crawling on you.
I just jump, brush it off, and go wash my hands. Most of the time, I scream.
You would scream, right? Good, you scream because you're fearful. Let's hear you. Would you scream?
I would shout,
Mommy, a rat on
Yeah.
me. Something like that.
yeah, even if it's rats.
So, why are we talking about rats? And the main thing though is that you would scream, right? That's the point I was getting at. You scream. When you scream, that shout, exclamation mark comes there. You won't say, Mommy, a rat on me. No, you wouldn't say that, right?
Sometimes.
You would, but that wouldn't be very effective, would it? Would mommy
Rat
come?
is on the ground stand and you're then you'd say that quietly.
Here is an example of a sentence that uses an exclamation point to add strong feeling. I caught the ball! Using the exclamation point shows that this person is very excited about catching the ball.
Like cricket, right?
If the sentence were written using a period instead, it would read as, I caught the ball. Did you hear how different the sentence sounded? It no longer had any excitement. Here is another example. The crowd cheered. And
That sounds something like what you would hear at cricket matches, right? Or World Cup football is coming around the corner, so you would hear the commentators screaming for their teams, or when they're going for the goal. What's the word? How will they say goal when somebody scores a goal? He scored a goal, or what do they say? Goal! And they drag it out, right? So if they're shouting goal, then what comes after that? Exclamation mark comes after there too, right? So realistic, every day we're using punctuation without knowing that we're using punctuation. So it comes like second habit to you after a while. So these are the main ones that we have talked about. Let's go them over again. Full stop, question mark, exclamation mark. What's another one that you know, Azario? We talked about one a couple weeks ago when we were talking about. These are all punctuations. So give me one example apart from these three that we talked about. When we were talking about singular and plural, but we were also talking about apostrophe. Remember that one?
Yeah.
So we were talking about when it's a noun is singular and becomes plural. For example, chair becomes chairs. But if we're talking about you owning something or the chair's handle, it will be chairs with the apostrophe and then the handle. Notice that? The chair's handle, so the apostrophe. So remind me, what does the apostrophe mean again in that particular case? It shows what? It's a word that begins with P. You call it a certain type of something. So you have singular and plural nouns, but if you use the apostrophe, no, it doesn't become a pronoun. You also have singular and plural pronoun as well, but when you use the apostrophe, it usually signifies possession. So your hair, Azaria's hair, it would be Azaria apostrophe S hair. The hair belongs to Azaria, right? Or we can say Alicia's glasses, ALICIA apostrophe S. So that apostrophe used there would mean possession. So it's called a possessive noun. I used both of your names just now, right? So possessive noun in that case. So let's continue. Let's see what else they have prepared for us. Here might be another example for this
Adding
here.
the exclamation point to the sentence lets the reader know that the crowd is very excited. We are in first place! We will get the gold medal! These sentences also show strong feelings of excitement and surprise. You can The ends of these sentences are missing their punctuation marks.
My balloon popped. Can you get me a new one? What punctuation mark should go there? What's the first one? My balloon popped. Can you get me a new one?
Exclamation.
Well,
No.
it can be if you're extremely excited for that. My balloon popped. So you're shocked or something. So yes, exclamation mark can go there. But if you just say it like my balloon popped, it will be full stop. What about the next one? Can you get a new one?
Question.
Question mark goes there, right? So we know when and where to use this. So let's just have a conversation between each other, and I want you to pick a topic you'll be talking about, and I want you, when you speak, use the punctuation mark. So if I ask Azaria, how are you doing? Question mark. It's going to sound a bit weird because that's not how we speak usually, but I want to pay attention to how these things work in regular conversations. And we're going to come up, let me close this down because we're finished with this here. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So this part here is called free speaking. So we're going to talk and we're going to use those punctuation marks. Correct? Ready?
Yeah.
So I'm going to start and we're going to go around that way. Full stop. Azaria, how are you today? Question mark. Your turn.
I'm good. Full stop.
Ask a question and continue. Full stop.
How was school? Question mark.
It was interesting. School was interesting.
Which punctuation mark at the end?
Full stop.
Continue.
What did you have for breakfast?
Put your question.
Question mark.
Put your punctuation mark in. Question mark. I'm trying to remember if I had breakfast. Full stop. I had a can of tea. Full stop. Azaria, what did you have for breakfast? Question mark.
I had toast bread with cheese. Full stop.
Exciting! Exclamation mark.
Christmas is coming soon. Full stop.
I'm sorry.
Full stop.
Alright, so that sounded a bit weird, right? Because we don't speak like that usually. So to speak something and actually call the word, the punctuation that you're using right after sounds weird. But we do it all the time without actually putting it there in regular conversation. So just think about it. Whenever you're having a conversation with someone for the rest of this week, think about what punctuation mark should go there. And I'm going to bring out a new one here now. Have you ever seen persons put their hand like this when they're talking about something?
Yeah.
So they can say, today was fun. What does this mean?
Uplifted comment.
Uplifted commas. But what does it mean? What does it do? What's the function of it? If they say they were having fun, they're not actually having fun, right?
Yeah.
So they're using it in a ironic way, or if they meant to hurt somebody, it would be a sarcastic way. Usually this here means as if you're using it it means two things. One, it could mean that you're using somebody else's words. So for example, something that Peppa Pig would say.
Jump in the muddy puddle.
And she says it with an accent, right?
Yeah.
So say it again with the accent.
Let's jump in the muddy puddle.
Let's jump in the muddy puddle. Good. So Peppa Pig said, let's jump into the muddy puddle. So what is that doing there? What are these doing?
Uplifted.
Uplifted commas. And what are they doing in that sentence? They're telling me that what? Somebody's words are those. So even if I am saying it, are they my words? No, it's somebody else's words. So in a story, you may be reading a story, and the story may have John told his mother, shut up, and you have the exclamation mark there. So that's John's words, that's not my words. So exclamation marks are usually used to highlight the direct speech, the exact thing that someone says to someone else in a piece of writing. If you're speaking it, of course you wouldn't say that, right? But sometimes when people are talking, they would use this gesture to suggest that this is not their word, or it could mean that they're using this particular word in a different way. You know, sometimes we use Guyanese would say, look, your friend passing there. Is it always friend that we mean? No, sometimes it means it's your enemy sometimes, or it could be someone that you just met, your friend. Good. So friend doesn't always mean friend. So if you use this, look your friend passing over there, it means that that particular use of the word friend is not used in the original way it's meant to use. So you're using it in a different way. Any questions? No. So how many we learned about today? We learned about the full stop, which is easy. We learned about capitalization. When do we use capitalization?
When you're using the name of a person.
Good. Proper nouns begin with a capital letter, but in terms of punctuation, all sentences start with a capital letter. So capitalization we did. So full stop, capitalization. What's that one?
Punctuation.
It is a punctuation, but what is it? A long stroke and then a dot to the bottom. Exclamation mark! Oh my god! Oh my god! Exclamation mark. Good. So how many we did so far? 3. Which one am I missing?
Uplifted comma.
Uplifted commas. That's 4. One more we're missing. We didn't list it this time. It's an easy one, and I'm already using it by asking you, which one are we missing? I'm using it. Which one are we missing? It's a question mark. See? So let's review it. If we're using a question mark, it means that we are asking a question. If we're using exclamation mark, it means we are excited or fearful, or we're angry, surprised even, right? So exclamation marks would bring out strong emotions that we're having, or strong feelings. A full stop is just to signal the end of a sentence. Good morning, class. My name is Miss Monique Sarias, full stop. I am here to teach you English, full stop. For the next year and a half, I will be your class teacher, full stop. I'm just saying regular things. If I come to you now and say, I'm so excited to meet all of you, exclamation mark there. How are you doing this morning, class? Question mark goes there. And you can probably ask, I'm trying to figure out one. Give me an example of where I can use my uplifted commas with the class. Can I use this with the class to say something? Can you give me an example? We can end it off right there today. I can think of a lot right now, but they may come over as mean, so I don't want to be a mean teacher. Alright, just remind me then what the uplifted commas are for. They report what kind of speech from someone?
And when you don't actually mean something.
Or when you don't actually mean like a specific word. or like somebody is trying to kill you and you're running away from them, and then the other person asks you what's happening. I'm just running for fun. And you keep running, but you're not really running for fun because somebody's coming to kill you, right? Fun. So that's not fun. Or your teacher brings a test to you in class, and they're like, we're gonna have such a fun day, students. And they start smiling and they give you the test papers. It's fun for them, but it's not fun for you, right? So fun there is used in an ironic sense, so uplifted commas, but also uplifted commas direct speech. Alicia said, when I go home, I will make a pizza for myself. Close your uplifted commas. That's exactly what Alicia said, not what anybody else said, but just you. So it's usually reported speech, but exactly what the other person said. So when you're reading a newspaper or you're reading something on TV and they write that the man who witnessed the accident said, if you don't see the uplifted commas, it means they summarize what the person said. If you see the uplifted commas, it's exactly what the person said. So sometimes this stuff might be written in English, but where you see the uplifted commas, what's in there is Creole, because that's how the person was speaking. So we'll continue more on this discussion of reported speech next time, uplifted commas and so forth. For now, we're out of time, so we're going to hand you over to your math teacher who will go through with you mathematics, critical mathematics, right? What's your teacher's name again? You forgot your teacher's name. Oh my god. Exclamation mark. Alright, so Miss Najima is going to join you in a few minutes. So thank you so much for your time. And I will see you on Thursday. Thank you. Bye.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Critical Math, grade 6 to 7. And today our topic is types of angles. So notice I have two devices in my hand here. And so my students are going to be manipulating them in order to depict the type of angles. All right? But before we begin our session, we need to understand, first of all, what is an angle. All right? So an angle is formed when we have two straight lines or rays meet at a point. So the device that I have in my hand here to represent an angle, all right, so these 2 points, so you see my straight edge here, straight line. So if we consider this a straight line, and so we can call this a ray, or in some books you may see an arm. So we have two arms or two rays, and they meet. Well, you can't actually see a point here, but you get the idea, right? Good. So that specific point there is called a vertex. So if I'm going to use it like this, if I do something like that, where the two red meet, that is called the vertex, right? So that's the point. So here we have one arm or one straight line, another straight line, or two arms, all right? So when you move the ray or the line, straight line, you more or less generate an angle, and the angle is formed between the two rays or between the two straight lines. All right, so that's basically how we parts of an angle. All right, so let's look at the types of angles. Can you remember some types of angles? All right, just excuse me, let me plug in my cable here, sorry. Yes. All right. So an angle is formed when two straight lines or rays meet at a point. So that is what I was depicting with our manipulative here. And so we were looking at parts of an angle. And so we have two straight lines or two arms. And where the two straight lines or the two arms meet, we call that a vertex. All right? Great. And the angle is the amount of turn between each arm. So like I said, so if I move this arm here upwards, an angle would be formed between the two arms there, or the two rays. All right? Great. So, can you tell us about some types of angles that you know?
Right angle.
Right angle.
Obtuse.
Obtuse angle.
Acute.
Acute angle. Wonderful. Anything else?
Straight line.
A straight angle. All right? And so we have some names of angles here. So we have the acute angle, the right angle, obtuse angle, straight angle. You've mentioned all of those. What's the 1, 2, 3, 4? The fifth one there?
Full rotation.
It's a reflex angle. And you see how it is, right? Reflex. And then you have a full rotation of an angle as well, right? So take this device, and I want you to replicate each angle that we have there. So replicate an acute. What do you think that angle is going to be on average? Just give an average, a value. If you were to give a value to that angle that you formed there, what value would you put? Or what number would you put?
8.
8? 8? What? Is it more than 8? On average. You can be right, or you're right. So we're doing an average. So you think it's going to be more than 90?
No.
So it's going to be less than 90.
Yeah.
So give me a number between 0 and 90. 18?
84.
84? Will you say Azaria? Come on, any number between 0 and 90.
60.
60? Great. So those angles are acute angles. So let's manipulate your right angle now. Good. So you have a vertical and a horizontal going there. So that's always right. Good. Now our obtuse. Great. How much you think on average that angle, obtuse angle, is going to be? Based on how you're manipulating. 118?
180.
180 or 118? 118? 80 or 18?
80.
80?
Yeah.
Check it. You need to think about that a little more. Okay, Azaria, what were you thinking there?
135.
How much?
135.
135. It is within the range? Yes. Yes, Alicia. You revisit your angle? Come on.
150.
150? All right, we can take 150 because it's an average. All right, the straight angle. How are we doing the straight angle? Right, so you see, Azaria went all the way down. All right, so that's the straight there. Right, so the angle would be in the middle, like just like that is depicted in our image there. Reflex. In our or outside?
Inside.
You sure?
Outside.
Outside. Where is your angle?
On the
Inside or outside?
outside.
Outside, because it's going to be the larger angle, right? Well, the device cannot do a full rotation there, but you get the idea. So circle, when you think of terms of a circle. Alright, so there you have our angles. Acute, right angle, obtuse angle, straight angle, reflex angle. And then we have a full rotation as well. Alright, cool. So these are the description for our types of angles. An acute angle would be an angle which you rightly depicted as an angle which was less than 90 degrees. Right? So anything between 0 and 90 would be considered an acute angle. Alright, the right angle would be exactly 90. Right? Can you identify any right angle in this room that you're in? Where do you think a right angle would exist?
The chair.
The chair, where?
The back and the seat.
Back in the seat. Alright. Anywhere else?
The board.
The board. Very well. The edge here?
Yeah.
Cool. Any other if you look in the roof?
The light.
The light, right? Where the two corners be. Good. Alright, so an obtuse angle now is an angle. So notice we're moving from less than 90 to 90. Obtuse we're going, it's what? It's greater than 90, but it's less than 180. And then we have a straight angle, which is exactly
90.
straight.
180.
Exactly 180. Good. And then we have our reflex angle. So that is an angle which is greater than 180, but less than, yes, it must be less than 360. And then we have a full rotation of how many degrees? 360 degrees, because it's, you can go back to a circle. All right, so let's see how we can just a little bit of manipulation here. So see here. All right, so I'm going up. Right, so you notice our acute angle. Look, so we're starting from, you can have an angle of 1 degree, 2 degrees, 3 degrees, 5, 6, right, all the way up. This would still be considered an acute because it's less than 90. So I'm going up, 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 up. Notice I'm 56, in the 60s, 70s, 80, right? I could go as close as 80, what? 89? 89, I'm not getting 89, but close as it in terms of whole number wise, right? Close to 89, so 89 would be considered an acute angle. Good. Straight above, I have my right angle. So if I keep going around, it becomes obtuse. I keep going, I'm still in the obtuse zone, right? Until the line becomes flat there. Right? Flat. Almost. Straight angle. So if I keep going now, extend that line, see? More than 180. So I'm in the reflex zone. So notice here. Straight. Even if I add on 1 there, I'm in a reflex zone. Notice that, right? All the way around to almost to 300 and let's say 358, 59. See my reflex angle, right? So notice too that so as we move from 0 going around, the angles are getting larger and larger. Notice that, right? Good, until we reach back at 360 there. Now notice something. So if I look here. So here I have an acute angle that is forming in the middle there. What you think would be the other angle on the outside? The angle on the outside. So you can have 2 angles, right? So we have an acute angle here, and so on the outside, what type of angle I'll have there? Reflex, because it's going to be more than 180, right? So if I go here now, I have 90. Okay, let's say 90. Okay, we have 90. What you think that other angle is going to be? The angle on the outside. Are we getting another reflex? We're getting another reflex angle. So 90 and how much is going to make 360? Come on. 90 and
40.
270. 270. So 270 is more than 180. So notice if I go here now, what are my 2 types of angles here? So the angle at the top that you're seeing with a 180 will be a straight angle, right? And any angle drawn at the bottom would be another
Reflex.
straight. So you have, right? So look here. So you have another straight. So you see 2 straight? So 180 and 180 is going to give us the 360, right? So if I come around now, right, I have my reflex moving into a obtuse zone, moving into a reflex and a right angle zone, so to speak, right? And then reflex, and then the small angle in the middle there is going to be acute. So you see how you can have more than one type of angle as you go around into a circle. Okay. All right, so going back to our slides. All right. So all angles below are acute angles. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Right, so all of them are less than 90 degrees. So we have 62, which is smaller than 90, 48, 71, 67. All those angles are smaller than 90 degrees. So all of them are different types of acute angles. All right? Cool. Obtuse angles. So notice our sign there, greater than 90, but less than 180. Right? So all angles depicted there would be angles which are more than 90, but less than 180. So notice the difference there. All right? Because sometimes, let me go back a bit. Sometimes students sometimes can only identify an angle if it's like this. If it's like this. If it's like this, right? But you can, if you use your manipulative a little bit, just lend me that a bit. All right? So if this is an acute, even if I turn it like that, rotate it, it's still an acute angle because I haven't changed the size of the angle. It's just that it's in different directions. All right? So if I have an obtuse now, same concept. I can have it like this, I can put it like that. It doesn't change. It's just the direction of where the angle is located. Alright? But it still remains because I am not adjusting the size. The size remains the same. It's just how I'm placing it. Alright? So you must be able to identify the angles in different directions, so to speak. Alright, so the right angle, we mentioned before, the right angle triangle. Alright? So it's exactly 90 degrees. And so we have a mathematical fun thing here that says, never argue with a 90-degree angle. It's always right. Catch the phrase?
Yeah.
Right, so that's some math fun there. So never argue with a 90-degree angle. It's always right. Okay, so a right angle is exactly 90 degrees. All right. Now sometimes with the right angle, you may see the symbol there, right? That looks like a square. That we make a square with the angle. So you may see that, and sometimes you do not see the. So you can just see, for example. Let me write this a little straight, like this, like that. And so you just have that. So you must understand that it's a right angle. So once you see that, it's a right angle. If you see an angle and it's not in there, right? It's not in there, do not assume that it is a right angle. All right, so an indication for a right angle would actually be the symbol that you see there, that we have like a little square in the middle there. All right, so moving on. So a straight angle is 180 degrees, and notice in our depiction earlier, right, it's a straight angle, and you can have, if you're looking in terms of the circle, you can have two straight angles within the circle, right? So you can have one at the top and one at the bottom, all right? So what does that mean? Alright, so if you start at one point and you go straight, it means you've covered 180 degrees basically. Alright, and notice again in terms of direction, you can have them in different directions, right? So straight angle, you can have them in different directions. You can have it like this, you can have it like that, I can have it diagonally as well. Alright, both sides diagonally. Cool. Any questions?
So they can fool us by putting it like in like a slanted way?
How?
Like in like a slanted way?
Yes, in a slanted way, yes. You can have it like this. Right? Diagonally, you can have it vertically. You can have it horizontally. Or you can also have diagonally in that direction as well. So you have varying degrees as well. Alright? Different straight. So here, if you look at the board, we will have a straight angle forming at the edge of the board here. Right? At the edge of your table, we will have a straight angle as well. Even your ruler will form a straight angle along the edge, along that straight edge. Alright? Cool. Now, reflex angle, so we know that angle is greater than 180, but it is less than 360. And so you can have an idea of what a reflex angle looks like, right? So sometimes with a reflex angle, right, you can also have another type of angle with the reflex angle. All right, that's the idea. All right, so now you can also have a scenario where the circle is actually divided into like different portions, and each portion probably make up of different types of angles or different angles. But what is going to happen is that the total of the angles, because you're dealing with a circle, will give you how much? 360 degrees. All right, so in our example there, we have an angle which is, so we have, let me use a color scheme here. We have this red angle here. Let me use red. That's 87. It's black. We have 53. Blue. I can use green. One here is 80. Let me use another red because I can't use green. Here is 140. So the total of how many angles we have here, by the way? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4 angles. So those 4 angles of varying degrees will add up to give us 360 degrees. Right? So sometimes you can even have the angles divided into, you can have it in 3 parts, like that. And so you have an angle here, 116, over here, probably 35. And then sometimes they can ask you what is that unknown part there. Right? It's being blocked. So okay, let me draw it on this one side. Scenario. So this unknown is X. We have here is 35. And we have over here is 160. So how do you think you can find that unknown portion? How you think you would find it? So we know an entire circle is how many degrees?
360.
Right, so we know it's 360 degrees. And so what would be the approach here?
116 plus 35.
Right, 116 plus 35, and then?
The answer minus by 3.
Exactly. So the answer that you get, you subtract it from 360, and so you get that value there. Good? Right. Wonderful. Now we have other types of angles. We have angles that we call complementary angles. And what you think complementary is? Not like complimentary tickets. Complementary. It's right there. You can actually see it. So complementary angles are angles that add up to give you a total of 90 degrees. Right? So notice in our example, 50 plus 40 will give us 90. Alright? So likewise, you can have varying degrees as well. So you can have a scenario where, again, just like the one before, right? And we can call here 21 degrees. So then it can ask you to find X as well. So how would you find X? Because you know, we need to put in that thing here, because remember our symbol that indicates it's a
Right angle.
exactly. So that symbol indicates that there are 2 lines make a right angle there, and hence we can go ahead and calculate, right? So we know the sum of the angles there are going to give us 90 degrees. So you can write it in an equation format like this. X plus 21, right? So the unknown plus the known gives us a total of 90. And so our unknown would be 90 minus 21. So the unknown is what? So let's do a 90 minus 21 here. So we borrow 1 is 8, it's become 10. So it's 9, 2 from 8 would be 6. 69 degrees. Put in our degrees, because we're dealing with angles. So angles generally they're measured in degrees, or sometimes we use radians, right? But at your level, most of your angles would be measured in degrees. All right? Any questions so far? So complementary angles are angles which add up to give us 90 degrees. So that brings us to another type of angle, which is called begins with S?
Supplementary.
Yes, supplementary. And so supplementary would be what? What would be the definition for supplementary? So supplementary would add up to give you how much? So the S is saying something?
180.
Yes, so supplementary and straight going together. All right, so that's a little way to remember. All right, supplementary angles. All right, so angles that add up to give us 180 degrees. All right, so knowing one, you can also find the other, because you know of the type of angle as well. There are other types of angles that you're going to look at later when you get into Form 2. You have like co-interior angles, you have Z angles, alternate angles as well as another name for Z angles. Right? Those are other types of angles you will be examining as well as you go along. They are angles formed from when you have parallel lines being intersected by, for example, some lines, parallel lines, and then you have a transversal there. So you have different types of angles that are formed between those lines as well. Notice some of them are acute. Some of them are acute, and some of them are obtuse. Can you see that? So here you have,
Oh, yeah.
yes, you can see it. So here we have acute. You have an acute here. Over here you have an obtuse. And then this entire thing you have, how many angles there? three angles you can get there, right? So you have acute, you have obtuse, and then you have a straight angle. So you have those four at the 4 points there. So here, 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 here. Get the idea? All right. So let's examine some of the concepts that we've been looking at. So if two angles add up to 180 degrees, they are called
Straight lines. Supplement.
supplementary. That's the word we're looking for. So we write supplementary. We're going to overtake here, supplementary. Good. So if two angles add up to 90 degrees, they are called, come on, 90. So who was paying attention, right? Begins with C. Come on, say it. You're thinking it. You're thinking it, so say it. C, it begins with C.
Complement.
Yes, complementary. Alright. So one angle of a pair of complementary angle is given. What is the measurement of the other angle? So what's the key word here? What's the key word? Complementary. And so if you know one, you'll know the other. So if one is 45, the other one is going to be 45. Great. So she did that mentally. Let me write this properly. 45. So she knows that 45 and 45 is 90. Good. If one is 82, the other will be 82, and how much make 90?
8.
8. Very well. 23. If one is 23, the other is going to be? You're doing it mentally? How much?
97.
97? How are you get 97? There's a 7 involved, but not 97. One more try. I know you're doing it mentally, which is good. Come on. There's a 7 there, yes.
77.
You sure it's 77? Check it back one more time. One more time. Okay. Going once, 2 times. Come on. There's a 7 in there. What kind of a 7? 67. Great. Alright, so let's do one more on the sheet here. So one angle of a pair of complementary angle is given. So our keyword here is supplementary. Supplementary is our keyword. And so if one of them is 173, the other is going to be, come on, do the math. The other is going to be, come on. Supplementary, how much degrees in total? How much? The angle measured how much in total? 180. Great, 180. So 173, and how much makes 180? 7. Yeah, that's it. Alright, so we stop here for today. And so we've looked at types of angles. Right? And so the types of angles that we examined were, let's go through. Right angle. Acute angle. Reflex angle. Obtuse angle. And we did a full circle, which will give us 360 degrees, right? We also examined 2 other types of angles. First one is C. Begin with C. Complementary angle. And what is that? An angle is complementary when it adds up to how much degrees? 90 degrees. Very well. Then we also examined supplementary angles, which is angles that add up to 180 degrees. Right? So those are some of the basic concepts that we went through today. So we want to thank you for watching and hope you've learned something today. Thank you. Bye.
Oh, Miss, for the right.